Resistance is futile.
Boldly going where no show has gone before. This is The Week in Geek with David D. Squared and Brian Held. Heard live on News Talk 99.5 WRNO and the iHeartRadio app. Here are your hosts, Brian Held and D. Squared.
Greetings, people of Earth. This is The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. I'm your host, D Squared, along with
Brian Held.
How are you, buckaroo?
Oh, man, dude, I'm feeling so rough.
Why? You didn't do anything all weekend.
What? We've been at Wizard World New Orleans all weekend long, meeting with fans.
Where we were?
Yes. Well, I was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you were cavorting around the con, right?
That's my bag, baby.
Uh-huh. Well, our thanks to the folks who put on Wizard World for such a great event, and thanks for having us there. We made the guest list. That was super cool.
Hooray! Only took us 5 years.
I know. So, yeah, man, and we'll be at another con very soon. Probably Pensacon is our next one, so come see us there.
All right, well, let's lay out the show. Of course, we'll open up with top nerd news. Then our boy Skungy with his pick of the week and two interviews.
Yeah, you lucked out and you got to interview Mike Colter earlier this week.
Stuff. It's all skill, baby. Skill.
No, I mean, I wish I could have been there with you, but I'm glad you were there to do it. And then we're going to finish it out with an interview with Spencer F. Lee. He's a writer, director, producer, and he created this great documentary called From the Bridge, which is this whole movie about the fandom, what we're into. And it's got some incredible actors in it. Stan Lee's in it, George Takei, Nichelle Nichols, a whole bunch of other folks who helped create what we enjoy today. So,
well, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, now time for... And now, your top nerd news stories from around the world, brought to you by the Viridian Tea Company. Find them on Etsy. And now, your top nerd news stories. All right, Brian, what's topping us off?
Man, I don't even know where to start with this stuff. You know, let's start with Punisher. They released that it's going to be January 18th is going to be the premiere of the new series on Netflix.
You know, it's funny. Like, look, I mean, I got to talk to Mike Colter, what was it, Thursday? Yeah, it was Thursday. And so I point blank asked him about what's going on with the Marvel, Netflix, everything.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, they don't tell me much of anything. But he did give me a little nugget. But if you want to stick around, we play that interview later. But look, the Punisher, it sucks that we're not going to see these guys this last season. But
well, they haven't made any announcements, right? So I'm figuring, here's what I'm figuring, right? January 18th is going to be the release of the new season.
Right.
January 19th will be the announcement of the cancellation.
Yeah,
right.
Probably. Look, I mean, there's nothing hidden about it. We all know what's going to happen. I mean, its fate is already sealed. The only reason it didn't get canceled before or earlier is because it was already due to come out. And Jessica Jones was just wrapping up production. Or something like that.
Yeah.
So look, I mean.
And, you know, now you saw the villain is supposed to be this guy, Jigsaw. Do you know anything about him?
No, I do not.
So I looked it up. I found it interesting. He's a hitman that got his face all messed up. And it's, you know, that's why it's called Jigsaw. And he first appeared in Amazing Spider-Man, but he showed up in Punisher #1, the miniseries. So,
which one? Like the first four one with like the original, like, high-top white shrimp boots and the bazooka on the fire escape?
Yeah, that
original
one,
that first
stuff.
four?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, we're going back to the origins of Punisher.
I swear,
Yeah.
I owned all four of those comic books, but I can't tell you what was in them. And I know I read them backwards and forwards.
Well, did you want to listen to the trailer real quick?
Let's do that.
Someone told me once, life is just trying not to be lonely. It's like a bomb went off inside my mind, scattering all the pieces. Every time I try to put the pieces together, something won't fit. There's something on the edges. Someone, like a dark shadow, waiting for me. This face has everything that I ever did wrong written all over it. You need to let me be what I'm meant to be. I'm not the one who dies. I'm the one who does the killing.
So, we saw John Bernthal from a distance at Wizard World.
He was in character. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, dude.
Yeah.
He had the little beanie on, the hoodie up. He was just kind of looking down and looked like he was always checking the exits.
Yeah.
You know, probably went to an Italian restaurant, sat in the corner. You know?
Probably. But we talked to his agent. Hopefully we can get an interview lined up with him. But that'll be sometime in the near future.
Well, let's stay on Netflix.
Okay.
The Darwin Awards. When did the Darwin Awards come out? I hope they come out soon.
Yeah.
Look, Pete, it's like the Tide Pod Challenge has come back to haunt our dreams, but you have to eat your Tide Pod with your blindfolds on now, right? You're supposed to do every day. The Bird Box Challenge is what I'm talking about. So you have to do everything you would normally do, but blindfolded. So I guess all these asshats would want to, put on the blindfold and then eat their Tide Pods, right? Is that the plan?
I guess, if we're trying to weed out the population, the stupid people.
I'm always for that. That's going to be my platform when I run.
But no, apparently people weren't happy enough with just memeing Bird Box. Now they're trying to recreate it. And,
People are stupid.
Look, I mean, they even picked it up on Good Morning America where they were putting on the blindfolds and trying to put makeup on each other's faces.
For God's sake,
yeah.
really?
Yeah.
That's
So
that's what they did. That's what they did planking too, didn't they? At some point.
So that's officially jumping the shark when you're on Good Morning America.
Yes. Oh yes. When old shriveled white people are up there going, "Hey, look at this! This is what the cool kids are doing."
Right.
It's kind of like when you see Chris Christie dancing.
Oh God.
Yeah, you can't unsee that.
So yeah, guys, if you want to stay in the gene pool, don't put on blindfold and do stupid stuff, and then post it on Twitter because that's apparently the way it works.
God, people are stupid.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about some movies, though. Unbreakable, what is the third one in this series? Is it Glass? Not Glass.
It is Glass.
It is Glass?
Yes.
Okay. I'm getting them all confused
it
now.
was Unbreakable was the first with Bruce Willis, and
Right.
then you had Split with James
Split, yeah.
McAvoy. Yeah. And now we're going to focus on Samuel L. Jackson as, I forgot his name, Mr. I'll look it up.
Yeah.
Regardless, yeah, that is coming out. And when is it? I want to say it's also on the 18th of January. It's coming out soon.
Yeah, but that's good. You got to go to a theater on January 18th with Netflix. You just sit your ass on the couch and watch it.
That's true. But what's interesting is that they're using some unseen footage from Unbreakable in Glass in some flashback moments, and I think that's
Really?
kind of cool to tie it all together. Absolutely.
Look, you know how much money those things cost to make all those, and some of it ends up on the editing room floor. Hell, maybe this will cause some of the Hollywood movie houses to rethink how much money they spend and be like, let's only produce good films.
Well, but
no, it might heighten the fact that they want to put out crap that's already been rehashed several million times because they know it's going to make money.
Yeah. Well, it's weird though if you consider it, having worked with a bunch of folks in the industry. For a 2-hour movie, they shoot like hundreds of hours of film.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's crazy. So there's plenty enough to go around.
Not everyone can get it on the first take like you, Brian.
Hey, well, they should tighten up.
They should be more like you. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
How about your short-lived music career? Here's a snippet of Brian's short-lived rock foray.
No.
It's time to rock the rock.
Yeah, this is Brian shredding it. Hashtag LCBHROX.
Make it loud. Get your guitar ready to scream.
This is so terrible.
You suck, Brian. This is a terrible song, Brian.
I can't hit notes like this.
Why would you make this song? This is horrible, dude. I need to talk to your agent.
No, so this is not me.
Oh, it's not?
No, this is the first new music that we're hearing from Axl Rose in 10 years, and it's on the new Looney Tunes.
Oh, my God.
Yes. So apparently the scene that's being portrayed as the song is going on is that an asteroid is trying to hit Earth. And
they rock its face off. They rock it till its face melts off,
yes,
too?
Axl and Bugs and the rest of the Looney Tunes gangs are trying to destroy the asteroid with the power of their rocking. And it's terrible.
Wow.
I didn't even realize a new Looney Tunes was coming out.
They've had some new ones. It's not as good as the original stuff, though.
Right.
I mean, it's not even close because let's be honest. You can't have some of the stuff they had back then.
Well.
Now people would get all bent out of shape about it, and strong letters would be written.
No, that's true. So,
So does this mean you're going to start the front band back again? You're going to start your your Axl Rose tribute band to back up?
No, I can't even.
Was
hit
that?
notes.
Oh, that was just a vampire character you played. Is that what it was?
Oh, no, well,
Oh, that's what it was.
I do.
Okay.
There is a video out there of me lip syncing to Guns N' Roses.
Here's my shock face.
Yeah. The band's name was Rogue Modem, and the album was called 9 O'Clock Lunch. It was great. And we did Welcome to the Jungle. It was a lot of fun. It was like a team building exercise at one of the corporate jobs that I've had in the past.
Later on, it was puking on the bathroom
floor.
Yeah,
yes, absolutely. So I put this article in here for you because it uses your favorite word. And the article's title... No, it was the new Pottermore reveal is total crap. Now, did you see anything about this?
I did. I even tweeted out. I forgot what the hell I tweeted.
Yeah.
You know what I did? I tweeted a picture of Sandra Bullock, Sylvester Stallone, and I was like, ha ha, he don't know how to use the 3 seashells.
Oh, God. God. So, of course, J.K. Rowling has stated that Hogwarts did not always have bathrooms before adopting Muggle plumbing methods in the 18th century. Witches and wizards simply relieved themselves where they stood, and it vanished the evidence. And why do we need to know this? That is so disturbing.
There is a point of no return where it's like, okay, now you're just damaging, the world building 101. You should really kind of maybe start with bodily functions because, it all kind of revolves around that. But I guess that's why they all wore brown robes,
That's terrible.
Somebody wore their brown pants.
Oh, God.
But no, the worst part is somebody even put it out there, which I thought was even the funniest thing, was that they put on there that imagine they didn't teach it until they were 3rd or 4th year students. So imagine the little 1st and 2nd year students that would have to go poop in the corner and then go find a teacher or an upperclassman to be like, excuse me, sir, can you remove me poopy from the corner?
Oh, God.
Please, sir, I want some more. Vanish me poop away. That's what was going on because they didn't know the spells. Avada Kedavra.
Oh, gee.
I mean, really.
That is just so ridiculous and gross. I can't believe it.
Pupo reparo. I mean, what were the words? See, now I want to go down this rabbit hole to find it all out.
You're terrible, Dave.
Well, how long do they go without said plumbing? I mean, for the love of God. I mean, how many years were they hiding their poop? I mean, even the Ministry of Owls was really slow on the uptake because they kept using owls. Who didn't think this through? That the owls flying around buildings, they wouldn't poop on them.
Well.
So, inter-office memos, they used paper. I mean, come on. How are wizards so stupid? I don't get it. Okay, sorry, squirrel.
No, it's fine. That's not anything I ever wanted to contemplate.
But the Pottermore things, it's just like they do that all the time. It's like they're gonna think they're being funny and witty. It's like, oh yeah, they just vanished the evidence. Everybody's gonna run with that. Now everybody's gonna be looking for the pre-plumbing portion of Harry Potter's ride.
Oh, that's terrible.
Think about it. Think about it.
The last thing on the list that I had here is there's a new Carmen Sandiego series that's coming. This is coming on January 18th on Netflix. Yes. No, that's cool. And I thought it was interesting. It's got 20 episodes that are going to come out.
Oh, it's a serial? I thought it was just like a solid movie.
Well, no, this is an animated series, but then it's also tied into a live-action film that's being produced and written by writer Mark Perez, and then Gina Rodriguez is going to play the character in both the animated series and the live-action film. That's kind of cool.
Really?
Yeah. So I thought it was cool. Did you want to play that trailer?
No, because it doesn't make a whole hell lot of sense. It's way too long.
No, that's fine.
But I mean, yeah, it's what is it? The School of Vile or whatever it was. I don't remember that. I just remember the game show and the a cappella band.
And was it originally a video game? Because that's where I think it started. Yeah,
yes.
And I never played it as a kid, so I just remember the song.
Yeah,
But and then her and Waldo kind of hanging out wherever they're right?
Something like that. I think they never went there.
Yeah.
That's just you.
And everybody else on the
Vanishing
internet.
your poop.
Oh, God. All right. Do we have to get to Skungy in a minute?
too.
All right, guys. Stay tuned. When we get back, we're going to have our boy Skungy and his pick of the week. Stay tuned. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
Yeah, to Carolina, she's a sticky-fingered filcher from Berlin down to Belize. Take you for a ride on a slow boat to China. Tell me, where in the world is
Carmen Sandiego?
Boldly going where no bar has gone before. The Bad Wolf is a bar, restaurant, and game shop all in one. You can't beat our specialty drinks, fresh food, and a variety of RPGs, board games, and miniature games for sale or rent. Stop by and hang out, or attend one of our regularly scheduled events, all in a non-smoking environment. The Bad Wolf Bar and Grill is located at 2010 O'Connor Street in Gretna, or find us at badwolfbar.com. The Bad Wolf Bar and Grill, where everybody knows your game.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as Tea of the Necropolis, Quantum Mechanics, Spider Witch, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com.
Mata Hari, Agent H21 is a spy fiction short story anthology about the famous dancer, seductress, and spy from World War I. Mata Hari, Agent H21, published by Pro Se Productions, has 7 rip-roaring adventure tales about the world-famous super spy that features her battling her enemies by using any weapons at her disposal. Mata Hari, Agent H21 is available for purchase in ebook and paperback formats on Amazon.com.
Do you have a message or logo that you need the world to see? Then rely on the folks at Gretna Signworks to use their expertise to deliver your design. With over 15 years in business, Gretna Signworks can do commercial and yard signs, banners, screen-printed t-shirts, magnetic signs, vehicle graphics and lettering, and so much more. Gretna Signworks also has an exceptional network of suppliers, so no job is out of scope. Find Gretna Signworks on Facebook or visit them at 2125 Bell Chase Highway today.
Hello, creeps. It's me, John Kassir, the voice of the Crypt Keeper, and you're listening to The Week in Geek.
Welcome back. This is The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. I'm D Squared along with
Brian Held.
Wait,
Dave,
you're right.
yes.
Brian,
oh, dude, God, I'm so beat down after this weekend. Our listeners want to know, Dave, if you are exceptionally hopped up on sugar right now.
No, but it was some sort of powdery substance. All right, let's go.
I am not what you would call a handsome man.
Skungy's Pick of the Week is brought to you by GameStop and ThinkGeek.com.
Skungy's Pick of the Week.
You might be an idiot savant.
Woohoo! Skungy, what's shaking, bacon? Whoop, wait, there you are.
As I'm just about as beat down as you are from this weekend, man.
Oh, man. Look, I'm just going to say it out the gate. We cannot fire Skungy today. He did a great job at the booth all weekend long.
Fine.
Yes.
Whatever.
So,
Yay! I got a reprieve.
Well, bring something good. You got 5 minutes.
Oh, excuse me. All right.
What are we talking about?
We're actually one that I meant to do a while ago, hadn't gotten around to for a while. It's Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Evee for the Switch.
Oh, okay.
What? Is that it? Was that English?
Yes. Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Evee.
All right.
They're the Pokemans.
All right. Let's catch them all. How do we do it?
All right. Exactly. So this is the first Pokemon game. Technically, I mean, there was Poké Tournament a while on the Switch, but the first, kind of true Pokemon game on the Switch. It came out a couple of months ago, and anybody who's familiar with the Pokemon Go craze that's happened over the last year and a half, This game is tied in very closely to it.
Okay.
It plays very much like that Pokemon Go, where you're going through a world, and traditionally, Pokemon is an RPG, your traditional RPG, where you go around, you get random encounters, and then you fight Pokemon, and you throw a ball and try to catch them all. That's the whole thing of it, trying to catch all these Pokemon.
It makes sense when you say it out loud like that.
Yeah. This one, they change it up a little bit, because you're not actually fighting the Pokemon to catch them. You just randomly walk up to, you see them on the field, and you walk up to them, and like you would in the Pokemon Go mobile game, you throw a Pokeball at them, trying to catch them in the Pokeball.
All right.
Now, you do this by using like an actual throwing motion with your Switch controller, or the Pokeball Plus controller that comes with it if you get that particular version of the game. Just like you would in the Pokemon Go game. So then you catch that Pokemon, and then you can train the Pokemon up to fight against trainers. Now, that's where this one differs from other Pokemon games. You're not fighting...
You can finally kill humans?
Yes. Well, you're not, but it's almost like those gym battles. So you walk up, and a trainer's like, I'm going to beat you by making this slave animal fight you.
Jeez.
Well, it's true. He's not wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's basically all it is. It's like, I'm going to make this little animal stay in a little ball.
Yeah.
All its life until it's ready to fight to the death.
Right.
No, I get it.
Somebody call PETA.
All right.
Exactly.
All right, you got 2 minutes.
So, the cool thing about this game is that you can actually cross it with the Pokemon Go game on your phone, which, like I say, Pokemon Go is still huge to this day. People play it every single day. They have tournaments. They have like events where they go out just to catch Pokemon. Well, this one you can interact with both of them. So you can put Pokemon that you've caught from Go into Let's Go Evee and vice versa. And they actually have this really cool controller called the Pokeball Plus that you can use in the game to control your character and to catch Pokemon. But you can take a Pokemon and put it in the little Pokeball and walk around, like, to go about your business for your day. And when you get back to the game, it's leveled up the character because it's like a pedometer.
Oh, that's cool. All right. So they encourage you to get off your sofa on occasion, right?
Yeah, and I mean, you get it, you put it in the ball, and it'll be like a level 5. When you're done, it's like level 20.
Okay. All right.
And so that's really cool. And then you can also use it as a Pokeball Plus. So you can use it with the mobile game where you don't even have to open up your phone. It'll hit the Pokestops and catch Pokemon for you. Just press a button on it, so you don't even need to take your phone out to catch Pokemon.
I'm just keep thinking about the fitness lockout for the Oasis console that Parseval had to deal with in Ready Player One. That's the first thing that hits my head. All right. So do we need it? Yes. What's price and platform? It was Switch, right?
It's going to be $60 for the base game. There are 2 different games, Evee and Pikachu. They're the same exact game, except they just have legendary Pokemon and starting Pokemon in different places. That's the only difference. Now, if you can find it, it's $99 if you get it with the Pokeball Plus, which is with the little controller. But you can buy the controller separately for $50 if you can find one.
All right. No, that's cool. And I just want to mention real quick, our boy Tim Lottie did all the artwork for the Ghostbuster VR game that's on mobile, so check that out too. Skungy, we got to go, man. Thanks very much. Guys, and when we get back, we're going to have our interview with Mike Colter. Stay tuned. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. How could you not love him?
Hamilton the Pug's adoption story started at a shelter. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Boldly going where no bar has gone before. The Bad Wolf is a bar, restaurant, and game shop all in one. You can't beat our specialty drinks, fresh food, and a variety of RPGs, board games, and miniature games for sale or rent. Stop by and hang out, or attend one of our regularly scheduled events, all in a non-smoking environment. The Bad Wolf Bar and Grill is located at 2010 O'Connor Street in Gretna, or find us at badwolfbar.com. The Bad Wolf Bar and Grill, where everybody knows your game.
Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid by Nancy Hansen, is now an audiobook read for you by Brian Held. It's a tale of a young girl from Tortuga who disguises herself as a boy and bluffs her way onto a pirate ship, chasing after her one true love. only to find adventure on the high seas. Jezebel Johnston Devil's Handmaid is available on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes. Get your copy of Jezebel Johnston today.
Do you have a message or logo that you need the world to see? Then rely on the folks at Gretna Signworks to use their expertise to deliver your design. With over 15 years in business, Gretna Signworks can do commercial and yard signs, banners, screen-printed t-shirts, magnetic signs, vehicle graphics and lettering, and so much more. Gretna Signworks also has an exceptional network of suppliers, so no job is out of scope. Find Gretna Signworks on Facebook or visit them at 2125 Bell Chase Highway today.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as Tea of the Necropolis, Quantum Mechanics, Spider Witch, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com.
Welcome back to The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. Like them on Facebook at The Week in Geek Radio Show. Here are your hosts, D Squared and Brian Held.
And joining me on the line right now is none other than Luke Cage himself, hero for hire, Mike Colter. Mike, how are you doing today, sir?
How's it going, D-Square? You doing okay, man?
I am doing well, man. I'm doing very well. So you're coming in town this weekend for Wizard World Comic Con here in New Orleans at the Convention Center, January 4th, 5th, and 6th. You're going to be here, Saturday and Sunday for the big event?
Yes, I will.
And so I guess, this isn't your first rodeo, huh? You've been to some of these Comic Cons before where you get to meet the fans and just kind of hang out with the people.
Yeah, amongst the people. It's great. A lot of times I think it's one of those things that people don't realize how gratified it is sometimes for the fans and also for us, the artists, because, a lot of times people run up to us on the street and they see us in places like restaurants or something like that, or they see us, somewhere every once in a while I go to a grocery store or something like that. They'll see in places that, you're not particularly looking to do any autographs or pictures or anything for that nature. So this is a chance to do that. This is the perfect opportunity.
It's funny. Here in New Orleans, we've got a lot of celebrities and stuff, and it's funny. Like, I try to maintain my composure. Like when you called and I picked up the phone, I was going like, all right, sound professional. Because I love all the work that you're doing. We're visiting with Mike Colter. Now, look, you've got something going to Sundance real soon. Before You Know It is the name of the movie. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Well, it's sort of a quirky comedy. It's a quirky comedy, and written by Hannah Oot and Jen Tulloch. Alec Baldwin's in it. Judith Light.
Wow.
Mandy Patinkin. A great cast.
Inigo Montoya.
Yeah, Inigo Montoya. You can't. Come on, of course. I think it's Saul from
Criminal Minds.
Yeah, no. Well, no, I think it's Saul. He's from the Showtime. For the Showtime.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes people know from that. Escaping my memory what the show was called, but it's a great show. It's a great cast. So we'll see. It's sort of an ensemble, but it's really kind of a little bit of a. I feel like it has it's that quirky New York comedy that is all character driven and just about people. It's interesting, something different, and I couldn't wait to be a part of it.
We're visiting with Mike Colter. Now, Mike, it was interesting when I was kind of doing my research, aka cyber stalking you. Now, you do something we call the Chekhov. What is it called? The
Chekhov technique.
There we go. Yeah, like explain that to me because I don't understand. They had a lot of big words in it.
Well, the gist of it, or in a nutshell, so I studied with a guy named Leonard Petit at Rutgers University. It was a class that was underneath the other or the other broader the technique that we all were sort of studying, Meisner technique. And techniques are something that people, implement when they're working. The gist of the Chekhov technique is that it sort of works from the outside in. So it's physical. And obviously, I'm not an expert on this, and this has been a while, so I'm not going to say that everything I say. Don't take it, verbatim.
Okay.
But what we're dealing with the person, you're dealing with the outside in. So you do the action, and then let the action inform your emotional state, and also tell the story. So a lot of it's physical. You do it, and you experiment with that first to then find the character or find the meaning in the scene. It's very informative. Sometimes just as simple as how you hold your hand, how you stand, how you sit, the manner in which you pick up something. It's very informative. A lot of times the stories can be told just by the manner in which you do something. And that's something people probably don't think about when they're watching film or watching television. Right. But a lot of that is telling a story,
We're visiting with Mike Colter, Netflix Luke Cage, but also you might have seen him in $1 Million Baby. But the stage is actually, you've done a lot of movies, television as well, but your heart is on the stage. Am I right?
It's been a long time since I've been on the stage, but every actor who starts on the stage, that's how they get the love of performance. It is something that it can be a bit of an addiction. But for people who love performing, or at least love the art of acting, it's where you start. And look, you're not paid a lot of money to be on stage, especially when you first start out. But that is where you hone your craft, and that's where you start to get that itch, that need, that feel to perform. And so that's where it was born for me, and I think most performers find it there.
Look, I was a vocal major in college, and I did stage when I was like 12, 13, all the way up. And I got out of it when I had kids. And then I started getting that itch, and I actually got into radio. And that's kind of where my background in vocal performance is really kind of what got me behind the microphone here doing my show. We're visiting with Mike Colter. Now, Mike, you've got another movie coming up with Hilary Swank, Fatale, right?
Yeah, Fatale. That'll probably be out sometime in the spring or early summer. Sort of a thriller shot. It was Michael Ealy's in it. And it was directed by Dion Taylor. Tyron Turner is another actor who's in it. It's a really interesting sort of thriller, and I think people will enjoy it. It's probably something that people will really be excited about, and I can't wait for people to check that out too.
During my research, I found out you're a big Game of Thrones fan.
Yeah, Game of Thrones fan, sure.
4 more months, man. Are you ready? You do a watch party? Do you get dressed up, or do you just kind of like sit back on the couch and get the popcorn ready?
You know what? Honestly, I'm not that big of a geek. And honestly, I don't think I never had the time. Like I can't be a slave to actually watching television when everybody else watches it. I do like to catch it when it's live, but a lot of times I watch that on the go. Okay. HBO Go or something like that. I was watching it, in transition or in transit from one place to the other, maybe in a car, sometimes on a plane, sometimes in a hotel room. So I caught it when I can, and if I could catch it, live, I would. But I never did the dress up thing. It's funny. I met so many people over the years from the show because the show has such a large cast.
Yeah.
I think I bumped into Jackie Gleason.
The kid. Yeah, Joffrey.
Yeah. The kid King, the child King. He was really good in the role, and obviously Finn Jones, from Iron Fist was in the show.
Nice.
Obviously Jessica Henwick, was in the show. Jason Momoa, he's actually going to be there this weekend too.
Yes,
there's just so many people. I've it's just such a large cast. Like I've probably met half of them by now.
We're visiting with Mike Colter, who will be in town for Wizard World New Orleans, January 4th, 5th, and 6th this weekend at the Memorial Convention Center. To get more tickets, go to wizardworldnola.com. Now, you've done a little bit of voice acting as well for Halo, the Master Chief. Now, did you ever get any time to maybe pick up a controller and play some of those games that you voiced characters in?
You know what? I think those days for me are kind of done for now. I mean, I have young children. I got a 3.5-year-old, and she is, when I'm home, there's no way I can sit and hibernate and play a video game. I just can't. The PS3 or whatever I have, I can't remember what even the game controller I have anymore. It got dust on it. I gotta go look for that thing. It's those days are done. I literally have to go do things like play puppets with her. I gotta put a puppet on my hand. I gotta perform for her now. It is around the clock entertainment for young kids. I got a 2 almost 3 month old now. So
wow, congrats.
I got to carve out some time later, but right now it's a lot of daddy duty.
Yeah, no, you're preaching to the choir, man. I got a 12-year-old and I got a 5-year-old, so I get to play the Xbox with my 12-year-old. But then, yeah, I'm sitting here playing Hot Wheels and just everything else with my little 5-year-old guy. So now, what is going on? We're visiting with Mike Colter, who'll be in town for Wizard World this week, and Luke Cage. Obviously, Netflix had canceled it. Do we maybe ever see you reprise that role with the new Disney Plus streaming service that's going to be popping up later?
I have no idea. People always ask about it. I think they think there's some master plan. If there's a master plan, they haven't, let us in on it. I'm just going about my business, doing my thing. Never say never. There's a possibility anything can happen. But from right now, you just, you focus on the next project. It's not something that like I can confirm or say I've heard anything, concrete about. So I don't want to mislead fans. But it's early on in the process. I mean, it just got canceled. Who knows, but listen, the characters live forever. So I'm sure we will see Luke Cage again. That's just the way it is. I mean, it's a character that never goes away. These characters are just, they're forever.
It would be nice if they do bring it back, that especially if they use you, because I remember the season 1 where you escape from the jail and you've got that old throwback yellow shirt on with the headband from the whatever it was you broke out of, and it was that original Power Man. It was just, I loved that look, man. You encapsulated that character, and just like the intellect you brought to this character, just the Harlem hero that just took care of the neighborhood, defended the small, the weak, and just it was a great show, and I think it needs to come back.
You know what? From your lips to God's ears. I'm proud of the show for a lot of reasons. I think there's a lot of things we still wanted to achieve with the show that we were wanting to do for the third season. But the main thing is, hey, we left people wanting more. I think if nothing else, you don't want to do a show and have people say, oh, it stayed too long, or is that show still on? And I know we didn't do that. We still have some story to tell, and we still left it with people wanting to see more and being interested in the character. So I think there's still time. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, I hope again that for the fans' sake, and we can bring some closure. It'll be nice.
That would be. Mike Colter has been our guest. He'll be at Wizard World this weekend, January 4th, 5th, and 6th at the Montreal Convention Center. Mike, where can people follow you on some of the social medias and keep up with all the great work that you got, especially like going to Sundance?
Well, listen, I'm sorry. I'm active. For years I was like, I'm not going to be on social media. But I always said I reserved the right to change my mind, and I did so early this year. The beginning of the year, somewhere in February, I started. And follow me at Real Mike Colter on Instagram and on Twitter. Things I say sometimes will make it happen, sometimes they won't. But follow me anyway.
Absolutely, Mike. Thank you so much for your time today. Don't hang up. Mike Colter has been our guest. So Stephen Marley gonna take us to break. That's all on the Luke Cage soundtrack. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. This is The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
So they buy and you sell your soul. Well, my friend, don't invest.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as Tea of the Necropolis, Quantum Mechanics, Spider Witch, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at W&Q's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
Black Tie Tans, the premier mobile spray tanning professionals of New Orleans. Black Tie Tans will come to you and give you a natural glistening glow on the go. First-time customers get 20% off their first tan. Find them on Facebook at Black Tie Tans or email them at blacktietans@gmail.com to set your appointment. Going to a wedding? Going out to the club? Black Tie Tans will give you the look you need. Black Tie Tans. Tell your pale friends. Boldly going where no bar has gone before. The Bad Wolf is a bar, restaurant, and game shop all in one. You can't beat our specialty drinks, fresh food, and a variety of RPGs, board games, and miniature games for sale or rent. Stop by and hang out, or attend one of our regularly scheduled events, all in a non-smoking environment. The Bad Wolf Bar and Grill is located at 2010 O'Connor Street in Gretna, or find us at badwolfbar.com. The Bad Wolf Bar and Grill, where everybody knows your game. Do you have a message or logo that you need the world to see? Then rely on the folks at Gretna Signworks to use their expertise to deliver your design. With over 15 years in business, Gretna Signworks can do commercial and yard signs, banners, screen-printed t-shirts, magnetic signs, vehicle graphics and lettering, and so much more. Gretna Signworks also has an exceptional network of suppliers, so no job is out of scope. Find Gretna Signworks on Facebook or visit them at 2125 Bell Chase Highway today.
Mata Hari, Agent H21, is a spy fiction short story anthology about the famous dancer, seductress, and spy from World War I. Mata Hari, Agent H21, published by Pro Se Productions, has 7 rip-roaring adventure tales about the world-famous super spy that features her battling her enemies by using any weapons at her disposal. Mata Hari, Agent H21 is available for purchase in ebook and paperback formats on Amazon.com.
Everyone listen! No one quits! This is Casper Van Dien, Johnny Rico from Starship Troopers, and you're listening to the Week in Geek radio show! Come on, you apes! You want to live forever? Kill them all! You know what to do! Service guarantees citizenship!
This is Brian Held with the Week in Geek radio show on News Talk 99.5 WRNO, and I'm joined by my guest, writer, director, and producer, Spencer F. Lee. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on your show today.
Oh, definitely, man. So, before we dig into the meat of this, writer, director, producer, how do you get there? Where was your start to get into those things?
I began creating art when I was very young, just a few years old, drawings and paintings. And by the time I was 10 or 11, I was writing short stories, mainly horror and science fiction. And then, of course, I watched all the science fiction television shows and the horror shows, and then I began writing comic books. Then I went to school. I went to Northeast Louisiana University, and I studied creative writing, advanced fictional writing, photography, and I continued to hone my skills as a artist, as a writer and a painter and drawing. My first script I wrote was a horror film that got optioned off, and that allowed me to kind of sink deeper into the film industry. And then my third script was picked up by Lionsgate. Toby Hooper was attached as executive producer to that horror film. We ended up not making the movie. All of this was educational, and it was like the building blocks, as I continued to move forward with wanting to write and create art and direct. That's kind of how my career has evolved.
No, that's great. Now, you mentioned having started cultivating a love for science fiction and fantasy and stuff at an early age. And do you go to the conventions and participate in the pop culture type events that celebrate those things? I
went to my first one in that capacity. I went to Comic-Con this past July, and my From the Bridge panel, we had a really wonderful panel assembled. We had Nichelle Nichols, we had Carrie O'Quinn, who was the creator of Fangoria and Starlog magazines, as well as many others. I had producer, writer of the X-Men, as well as the creator of the Transformers live action series, executive producer Tom DeSanto. Gene Roddenberry's son, heir to Star Trek Empire, Rod Roddenberry joined me, as well as Douglas Tate. He's an amazing character actor. He plays all kinds of monsters and creatures. And, of course, George Noe is with us as well. He's the executive producer on the film. And I think I've got everyone. I hope I'm not forgetting anyone. Oh, yeah, and Greg Grunberg, of course. He was our MC, our host. And Greg, for those of you out there who may know or not know of Greg, is that he played in Heroes. He was Matt Partman, the psychic cop in that Heroes television series. He also has played in Star Trek, and he also plays in the new Star Wars franchise. You know, he's one of the X-wing fighter pilot guys who's always blowing things up. You know?
Cool.
So we had this panel, and we went ahead and we showed some behind-the-scenes footage from the bridge, my feature documentary that's coming out this year.
Spencer, I don't mean to cut you off, but we kind of jumped the gun a little bit. So From the Bridge is a documentary that you produced about fandom and pop culture, right? Set the stage for like where did this come from, and how did you come to develop it?
Came from my love of comic books and horror films and science fiction and science fantasy. You know, when I grew up, these are the things that I gravitated towards. I was introduced several years ago, to Kerry O'Quinn, who was he's an iconic magazine publisher. He, like I said, he created Starlog magazine and Cinemagic, and he published Cinemagic, but he created Starlog and created Fangoria. And Kerry, in the early 70s when he made Starlog, there was no magazines that were science fiction that talked about films or anything like that. There was nothing. Of course, there was no internet either.
Right.
So there was no way to hold the fans together, or nationally, that is. So his magazine Starlog did that. You know, it gave voice to geekdom. You know, all these people that may be made fun of or poked at or not taken seriously, you know, suddenly this magazine took them seriously, very seriously. And it did really well, you know, and lo and behold, the magazine was out for just a year or two, and Star Wars came out in the mid-'70s, and that really changed everything. The magazine went monthly, and all these science fiction and science fantasy and horror films and everything just kind of took off. You know, all of a sudden Star Wars was such a phenomenon in the mid-'70s that kind of like a good example of what Star Wars did in the mid-'70s to the film industry is what Bryan Singer did with the X-Men with our current superhero genre. You know, Bryan took the X-Men and he made a serious, dramatic superhero film with mutants, and that paved the way. After Bryan made that film, Tom DeSanto talks about it in From the Bridge, that Sony greenlit Spider-Man Monday after X-Men came out because it did so well. And then all of a sudden, you know, little by little, Marvel superhero movies started coming out, and of course, Batman: Dark Knight did really well.
Right.
And that's kind of what created all this giant superhero genre we have. Was it goes back to that, and Star Wars played a very similar role in the mid-'70s. You know, when Star Wars came out, all of a sudden, Star Trek's back. You know, Star Wars did so well that Paramount Studios said, "Hey, don't we have a science fiction spaceship thing sitting around somewhere?" And they're like, "Yeah, Star Trek." So they went back and made Star Trek the first movie, you know, and that was a moderate success. But of course, it was the Wrath of Khan, the next movie, that really took off. And of course, it brought back the main characters of Star Trek, you know. And then of course, you had Alien and Blade Runner. You know, you just had this explosion of science fiction, science fantasy, horror, and some comic book stuff, you know. And it just kind of, I mean, what Star Wars did for that time period is what X-Men did for the superhero genres of our time period. It's very similar. And Kerry's magazines helped galvanize that. So Kerry gave voice to all these fans that didn't have a voice, and he helped, like I said, galvanize a community. And that's really the heart of the documentary. You know, it's narrated on screen by George Takei.
I saw that. Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I really enjoy working with George. You know, he has such a unique sense of humor. You know, he's really, him and Brad both, you know, they're really wonderful men. And, you know, I had the opportunity to work with Stan Lee a couple of times, and Stan Lee is in the film. I had a wonderful interview with Stan, and we talked a lot about why he made the Marvel superheroes, and what his inspirations were, and what he was trying to accomplish. And, you know, we had a really great interview. There's some rare footage as well. Kerry O'Quinn, the gentleman I was talking about, he produced the first ever Star Wars convention on the 10th anniversary of Star Wars, and Kerry was good friends with both Gene Roddenberry and George Lucas, and they had never met. So whenever Kerry produced the first ever Star Wars celebration, he secretly brought Gene Roddenberry out on stage and introduced him to George Lucas, and that was the one and only time they ever met. And it just so happens that a fan was in the audience with a handheld camcorder from the mid-'80s, the old VHS cassettes,
right?
And they captured that, you know. So we have that footage, you know, and we're cleaning it up, and it's gonna be shown as historic footage. And we have all kinds of interesting things. You know, we also have never heard before interviews that Kerry conducted with Gene Roddenberry and Leonard Nimoy.
Okay.
There's also interviews with his son Adam Nimoy, who's in the film, talking about how he grew up with his father. I interviewed Adam after he did his documentary For the Love of Spock, and my interview with Adam was like 2 hours long. You know, at the end of the interview, Adam's like, "Spencer, I've given you everything. You've got all my blood. You have it all."
Nice.
And I did. You know, I asked him so many questions. You know, I had seen For the Love of Spock before I interviewed him, and I had a lot of things I wanted to ask him about. So that's like his interview in the film is kind of the follow-up for that. And I had the opportunity to also interview Gene Simmons, you know, which a lot of people ask me, well, what does Gene Simmons have to do with all of this? And I'm like, are you kidding me? I was like, he's like the original cosplayer. I was like,
right.
he cosplayed and took all these elements and things that he loved and created a costume and went out there and played a monster himself, Bela Lugosi, and created Kiss.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so I was just really fortunate and blessed to have such an amazing group of, people that came together to help, to interview and give their time and their expertise to make this movie. And of course, it's really for the fans, is who this movie's for. You know, we chronicle the beginning of how the fandom evolved hand in hand with these amazing artists and why they did what they did and how they did it and how the fans responded and how it went from the days of not being accepted to today universally being accepted as the number one entertainment, number one audience in the world for entertainment is the fan community now for these genres. It's the biggest thing in the world.
Absolutely. So we are getting close to a break, and you have me absolutely intrigued. I mean, I've seen the trailer is out online at FromTheBridgeMovie.com where you can see that, but when are we going to be able to watch the full documentary?
We're really close to coming out with a release date, and it will be this year. It's looking like, I hope no one attempts to hold me to this, but I'm really thinking it's going to be late spring.
Okay.
And I'm working right now with some theaters, a theater chain, to see what kind of release we can get it nationwide. You know, we do have domestic distribution, when it comes to documentaries. Of course, lately things have changed a little bit in the documentary categories, but generally it's really difficult to get documentaries into a lot of screens nationwide. But I have I'm beating the bush pretty hard on this one to get this in a lot of theaters nationwide, because I think this movie is going to speak to a lot of people, and it's going to tell the tale of a lot of people's lives and how they grew up and what they grew up with loving, being fans of these genres. And the movie really also is about bringing people together. It's about love, understanding, acceptance. It's a very, very positive movie, and it has a very positive message as well.
No, definitely. Now, we did give the website address. What are the social media links that folks can keep up with you and, pay attention for that release date?
Well, we have a Facebook page. We've created it, but it hasn't really kicked into super high gear yet. I believe probably the middle of January this month, it's going to really start picking up. And, of course, they can just go onto Facebook, From the Bridge. That's there. As a matter of fact, we're preparing in the next few days, we're going to release the Comic-Con panel, the one I talked about earlier in the interview. We're releasing that entire panel on our website as well as YouTube and the Facebook page. So if anyone's interested in watching that panel, it's a very interesting panel.
Nice.
But yeah, so that's going to be coming out, and we have the right now the teaser trailer for the movie is out, but we have the full trailer, which is a lot more detailed and a lot more in depth. That's going to be debuting very soon. My guess would be mid-February the full-length trailer will come out. And I've got a couple other little mini trailers pieces. I've got a really nice one I put together for Stan Lee, that is a tribute for him, and I think that one, I'm not really sure what's going to happen with that one, but my bet is it'll be out in a few weeks too.
All right, well, fantastic. Well, Spencer, thanks so much for taking the time to spend with us tonight.
My pleasure. It's been my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right, that was Spencer F. Lee.
All right, Brian, who we got next week, man?
All right, we got Rachel Pizzolato from Mythbusters Jr. is going to join us in studio. It's going to be great.
That'll be cool, man. Well, we got to wrap this baby up. Till next time, keep your nerd flag raised high.
GFL.
Walton and Johnson, making mornings great on News Talk 99.5 WRNO FM, New Orleans, an iHeart radio station.